Hey, how y'all doing? So people are always asking me, what did I do to transition from meat eater to plant-based? Basically, I just started eliminating certain things week by week or month by month. I would just start eliminating certain things. So red meat and pork was just out of the question anyway. Before I even decided to go plant-based, I had stopped eating red meat and pork. So I was down to fish, shrimp, and chicken. So for a while, I was just sticking with those three. And then I eliminated chicken. Then I went down to fish. And then I eliminated shrimp. And after a while, I was just like, I'm just going to go for a plant based. And a lot of people, they use like a lot of those, like, I don't even know what you call them, but you can find them in the store, like the fake burgers and all that stuff. Or they use soy or tofu. I don't use any of that. I'm definitely not using soy. Definitely look up soy in the States and see what's in that. I'm definitely not using soy. So a lot of the things that would require like ground beef or something like that, I would just cut up mushrooms. Cut up mushrooms or put them in a food processor and do what I need to do. Like there were times where when I first started, like I was trying to get my family on board and they were just like not trying to hear it. So I would just ground up some mushrooms and they'd be like, "Oh, is this mushrooms or is this da da da?" And I'm like, "You're eating it now. What difference does it make?" And a big thing with my family is like they eat vegetables, so I don't know what the whole thing was with like why does it matter now? You're eating it. But I would do mushrooms or I would do walnuts and grind them up. Once you season something the way they want it to taste, like the way you want it to taste, nobody really cares. Like people make this plant-based thing like, oh my God, you don't eat meat, you don't eat meat. You season your meat, why don't you season your vegetables? It's just that simple. There's a lot of things that I wasn't eating anyway, so I wasn't missing out on certain things anyway. Because I basically ate the same thing. I still do. Mushrooms, peppers, onions is like staples in this house. I'm always gonna have mushrooms. I'm always gonna have peppers. I'm always gonna have onions because those are like my favorites. So I don't know. I feel like people act like they have like this whole, like they have four-course meals every night, and they're like, "Oh, you eat the same thing? Like so do you? You eat chicken every night. So what's the difference?" There's no difference. You eat chicken and rice and green beans or corn. There ain't no You ain't on no five-star restaurant. You ain't having all these different meals and filet mignon and all this different stuff. Like y'all eat the same thing all the time. And when it's a holiday, you eat the same thing. Same thing. You might throw a turkey in there or you might throw in some baked mac, but it's usually the same thing over and over again. But with me, I just learned how to do things with vegetables. I've had people's kids come to my house and I've given them like straight up mushroom burgers or mushrooms, like things with mushrooms, and they're like, they don't even know the difference. Nobody really knows the difference unless they ask. Nobody cares. If it tastes good, why do they care? It tastes good. It's seasoned well. Nobody really cares. So for me, going plant based was just learning different seasonings. Like I cut out the seasonings, like the seasoning salts, like Lawry's and Sasson and all that stuff, adobo. I cut all those out. Like my family was highly upset about that. But I was like, you know what? This stuff is so high in salt. At that time, I was probably, I don't know, I might have been like 37. Never had high blood pressure. I was like, if I keep using this stuff, I'm going to have high blood pressure. Till this day, I don't have high blood pressure. I've never had high blood pressure. So I'm like, I'm getting rid of all the seasons. Like I just threw everything away and I started buying like herbs, like actual herbs, like basil. I got cilantro, like paprika. Um, I switched the table salt, table salt with the little girl up there in the umbrella. I switched table salt to either pink salt or sea salt. I switched the pepper out because I heard there were some issues with pepper. So I started using cayenne. So it was all like it was a transition. It took a while, but after a while everybody got on board, especially with the herbs herbs are actually seasonings. Like my family was not trying to hear that, and I was just like, it's in the garbage now. So once I did that, like even now, everybody's fine with the seasonings. They don't care. Once you know you can make something taste good or make something taste like something you used to have, they're gonna eat it. My mother used to say, if you're hungry enough, you're gonna eat it. They're gonna eat it. But transitioning is it's a process. It's not hard. It's a process, just like everything else. If you go to the gym tonight, you're not gonna have muscles in the morning. It's all a process. So that's basically how I switch things out and swap things out with just different things, and it's a process. Stop making it harder than what it is. It's not that hard. You're not gonna die if you don't eat meat. I haven't died yet.